Hello YouTube and all my friends out there. We're going to talk a little bit about feminism today, and then I've got another video I'm going to be doing on Herbivore Man. I'm going to talk a little bit about a thing called the Karpman Drama Triangle, which will help you realize what's going on and stay away from women's bullshit. You know, how they rope you in and try to use you and get you to siphon off you like a leech, you know. So we'll start first. We'll talk about some misconceptions. One of the things that is a big problem is women like to take a lot of the facts and make it seem like something's going on that's not. And one of these things they like to do is they like to make up stuff, which they're really good at making up stuff to make themselves seem like bigger victims than they are, you know. One of the things is Emma Watson recently came out on TV, and she stated that in the UK, 85,000 women were raped a year in 2014. And when she said this, she had this look of disdain on her face when she said the word men, you know, like men are the problem. If we could just get rid of men, yeah, if we could just do that, our GDP would go, yeah, all we need is women, yeah. That's all we need is women, yeah. Well, the actual statistics I have here. The statistics show that in 2014 there was 20,745 rapes in the UK. Now, they're estimating that about 45 to 60% of those were probably male rapes. So, it was actually 63 or 60.3% were convicted. So fewer than about 12,000 were rapes of women. And in the U.S. prisons alone, there are an estimated 100,000 to 140,000 rapes of men every year. In our 80% of the suicides, 92% of the workplace deaths, 97% of deaths in the military, and 77% of homicides. So, tell you what, ladies, you want equality? So do we. Why don't you try bringing some of this stuff equal? How about that? Rape claims have went up 26% in the UK, but convictions have dropped from 63.2% to 60.3%, which means more people are claiming that they've been raped. I'm sure you've seen my recent funny comedy video where I made fun of the girl who said she was raped because her mother slapped her father. She watched that and that made her raped, and she's raped every day by things that don't even happen to her, you know, or she's raped just by somebody looking at her. So these claims of these, basically what it's known as is mission creep. And mission creep is a technical term that a long time ago feminism accomplished everything it needed to do, but people don't want to give up. They don't want to say like, well, we've won, we're done, you know, let's go home. They got to continue on. So they're making these crazy claims of things that's happened to them in ways they've been put down, in ways they've had their lives ruined by men. And even if it's not true, they have to make it sound like it's true, so they have something to fight for, even though there's really nothing to fight for anymore. Everything they wanted, they've won. And they've actually went over the top, and now men are the ones that are objects. Men are the ones that are losing jobs, that are not being able to work, that are having problems because of women. And they don't want to recognize that. They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until basically men will not have much, you know, in the way of rights or anything, you know. That's basically what they think they want. They want to push us out, which is I think good for herbivore men, because the more they push and the more they get, they're going to eventually realize that they are collapsing the economy, and they're collapsing the GDPs of nations, and that when guys start to say, that's all right, go ahead, you can have all your rights, you can have all your stuff, you can take everything of mine, and I'll just kind of hang back and do what needs to be done just to pay my rent and have some food, and you can go fuck off, and I don't want to marry you, I don't want kids for you, I'm not going to be your wet blanket anymore. When that starts happening, like it has in Japan, as it is in Japan, you're destroying the entire system by doing that. And eventually they'll wake up to realize that it either needs to stop or there won't be anything to fix, because there won't be anything left. And that's basically where they're headed right now. The other thing is, we want equality. Men want equality too, because we've actually lost all of our equality. We have no equality anymore due to feminism rights. And women serve less than half the time in prison for the same sentence. So if you're caught, like say, stealing something, a man might get like 3 to 5 years. A woman might get 1.5 years and get out in less than a year with good time. If you're in for murder, you might get 15 to 20 years. A woman might get less than 10. So women get less than half the time in prison for the same crime. You want equality? So do we. How about that? It's basically like a female groupthink. They basically all get together and somebody throws out some crazy stupid idea, and then they go with it, run with it, and they act like it's a real thing. And they continually fight now for things that are basically subjugating men. They turn men. Think of it like this: you're turning men. They've always talked about women being objects. Well, if you can vote to send me to some foreign country to be used for oil and die for your right to buy a Louis Vuitton purse, is that not objectifying me? Am I not the object? Objects, they always say objects do or are acted upon, So aren't you an object? If you're able to send me to Iraq or Afghanistan or Kuwait or all these other places to die for your freedom, am I not the object? Let's talk about something that can save us as men. There's a thing called the Karpman Drama Triangle. Now this is something that's came out of the psychology industry, and it's basically talking about being a rescuer. Women love to get their talons in you, especially if they like you. Women like to use you. And the way they do this is they get you to be a victim. They act as a victim so that you can be the rescuer. And typically what happens is it becomes a cycle. It's a three-stage cycle. One is you're the victim. You go from the rescuer to the victim because they'll keep using you. And then you'll tell your friends about it. They'll tell you, like, you shouldn't do that. She's a user, blah, blah, blah. And then you become the persecutor. So it becomes a cycle, and that's how they keep you. These women will act as the victim. You'll be the rescuer. Eventually you'll find out that you're the victim, and then you'll be the persecutor. And then it just becomes a cycle. And this is what typically will happen. Now, if you can stay away from being a woman's rescuer, you can stay away from women, and you can stay away from their bullshit. And that's all you really need to do is stay away from them. Don't let yourself become a victim. Don't let yourself become a rescuer. And stay in a persecutor role where you're just looking at their bullshit and calling them out on it like I do. That's the best way to go. Okay, that's basically what I was going to talk about today. I can delve in that further if any of you guys got any questions you want to know. Share, like, and subscribe, and comment, and I'll leave you with one last thing. The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. That's a quote by Albert Einstein. Have a nice night.